Hey guys, Dan Heilman back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about, is the bull market over? Are we done? And I don't think we are, and I'm going to put some evidence why I don't think that is the case. To me, this looks very similar like it did over here. Now, there's a bunch of rumors going on that, I don't know, Wintermute is suing Binance because of the 10-10, I don't know, tantrum liquidation event that happened on Bitcoin and a lot of altcoins. I don't know that there's any validity behind that, so I'm not even going to show any of the people talking about it. A lot of people are talking about it, and I don't know that that's true. I am going to move some of my crypto off Binance just in case it is true. I also don't really care for Binance. You know, my opinion, if you've been watching the channel, they love to dump the market using Wintermute, their market maker. And now Coinbase allows you to hold BNB and has listed BNB. So I'm going to move my BNB over to Coinbase. I do trust Coinbase a little bit more than Binance. But anyways, that's just a personal opinion, right? You're free to do whatever you want with your money. But what do we got going on for Bitcoin? So this is the chart we're looking at, and if you'll notice, one thing is we have this red moving average down here. Now again, if you want to get this for free, all you have to do is search DHYT, Dan Heilman YouTube, and pick up this 6 moving average indicator. I made this for people who don't have the expensive trading view because it has a lot of different indicators built in. Now this one, what is it? So this moving average, the red one here, is the 350-day moving average. Okay, so this one is basically the bull market invalidation point for me and many others. You can see that in past history, we've bounced off of this level and continued the bull market. So in the very beginning of this bull market, what I consider the very beginning, I think a lot of people came in during this time in March of 2024, but we had this pump up and we bounced off this moving average twice. Okay, and then we came up here, and in April, in the tariff tantrum, we bounced off this moving average again. Okay, and then right now we're doing kind of the same similar pattern, and it looks like we're most likely going to bounce off this moving average yet again. Now, if you're sick of it and you want to leave, at least don't do it right now, in my opinion. At least wait for a bounce before you want to exit your positions. If you've had enough and you just want to get out of your positions, that's up to you, but at least wait for a bounce here. I don't think that, you know, it's over, right? So once we start getting weekly candle closes, so if I go on the weekly chart, once we start getting weekly candle closes below this, you can see that we've never closed a weekly candle below this. So if you get 1 or 2 of these below, that's usually signaling the end of the bear market, or sorry, the beginning of the bear market. So you can see here, we had a couple weekly closes below this level, and it was just below it. It was just barely below it. 2 weekly closes, and that pretty much said, all right, the bear market's over. Now, of course, if you exit then, that's going to still be 30% down from the top, which sucks, but there's really no other way to know that it's over for sure, because this means you still basically stopped at 78% drawdown, right? So are we going to get a 78% drawdown this time? Maybe. We don't really know. You know, we had an even bigger drawdown the first time. So this one was, if I snap to the top, to the bottom, that was at 85. And then we had whatever I just said, 79%. I don't know that we're going to go down, you know, that far this time, because there's a lot more people holding it. There's a lot of ETFs, etc. But once we start seeing weekly closes below this level, that pretty much means that we're over for the bull market. Now, in April, we got close, and, you know, back here in September, we got close as well. But again, we did not get weekly closes below this red moving average. Now, something also kind of interesting is happening right now is there's a lot of altcoins that are green today, even though on the daily, Bitcoin has quite a big red candle. Now, there has been a lot of whales selling. I've been seeing a lot of notifications on my phone from CoinGlass and all of that saying very large whales are moving a lot of Bitcoin and Ethereum for that matter and selling. Now, I don't know exactly the cause of it. You'll never really know the cause of it. I mean, it could be manipulation. It could be, oh, Binance is going to collapse like FTX did. There's always some scare when you see these big pullbacks, but that's kind of just narrative, and price action is what really matters in this. So just kind of watch those moving averages. That's my invalidation for the bull market. I will tell you if I am, cleaning out some of my positions, getting out of the market, I will absolutely be public in that. A couple of my leverage trades are still open. A lot of them are very underwater. My dot trade is doing good. My Neo trade is doing good, and my Litecoin trade is holding up very well. The rest of them are really bad. Fartcoin is just getting absolutely destroyed. I thought I had a pretty good entrance here, and then now we're I think this is kind of a fake out below this channel, and I think it will come back if Bitcoin kind of turns around and comes back as well. Another thing that's happening right now is the stock market is down. So that's not helping our case here. You can see here is futures for the S&P 500, and we've come back finally to retest this moving average and kind of close some of these gaps. So honestly, I think that's good. It's probably going to be a good time today to add positions in the stock market. It's funny though, because again, crypto stocks are up, some of them, not all of them. Bitmine, emergent technology. This one's down. It looks like it wants to test the bull market support band. My entries are up here, which kind of sucks, but I do think, I'm not going to close them yet. I do think it's going to come back up and at least be able to close those at a break even. But a lot of these crypto stocks are kind of holding up. IREN pushed and made a new all-time high yesterday, which is quite interesting with Bitcoin being down so much. Riot looks like it's trying to maybe bounce off this support here. A lot of these look like they want to bounce here, right? So Hive looks like it's maybe trying to poke on this line again here. CLSK, kind of the same thing. We'll see what happens when the market opens, and let's check FOMO Finder. Let's check some others. Oh, I kind of didn't finish my thoughts on altcoins, but let me finish altcoins and then we'll go into sentiment. Altcoins are at an interesting spot. So Solana just retested this red moving average. I'm on the clean chart already. If it retested this red line, this red support line that I've had drawn for a while, basically from back in here. And we kind of broke out above this. We kind of went below it a little bit, broke out, and then we've now finally come back to retest it. I think there'll be a lot of support here. I don't think we're going back to the $100 levels or anything crazy like that. I think it also tested the bottom of this channel, which is basically a bull flag. There's another 70 million of Bitcoin moved right there. So this one is looking like it would be a good entry if you do want to try leverage. Again, affiliate link below for Bitunix, my favorite exchange, if you want to try leverage, or if you just want to buy spot cheap. I have affiliate links below to Coinbase and Bitunix. Those are my two favorite exchanges. Feel free to use that. Bitunix has a lot cheaper fees, and you can trade a lot quicker. There's no KYC, etc. And it's completely legal in most countries. So feel free to use that. But anyways, Pengu, not looking good. Ethereum, it's now below the bull market support band, which is, again, this moving average that's on my indicator if you want to pick it up. But it's approaching some of these other moving averages here, and it's in this window on the Camel Finance daily cycle low indicator, saying that we might see a low in this, and it's also right on support on the 0.786 Fibonacci. So there's a lot of confluence right here. I don't know that it's going to make it down to this moving average, but it might. It absolutely could. Virtuals had a very large pump on the daily, and it's coming back and just retesting the bull market support band. I did enter a little bit early. I should have waited a little bit. That's okay. Wild at the bottom of the channel as well. But there's a lot of just altcoins that are kind of holding up. Zora, which kind of pisses me off because every time I trade it, it does terrible. And then when I don't trade it, it does amazing. It feels like that one's been real annoying. But if I go look at like others, dominance, and even like just dominance, like look at above my head here. Look at all these altcoins on the dominance chart. So this is the percent share of market cap that they have. You can see a lot of them are green today, even though Bitcoin is red today. And you can see Bitcoin dominance is actually red today. But I mean, when I was recording this when I woke up about an hour and a half ago, this was even lower, right? And these were even higher. So it has pulled back a little bit, but we are back up. It almost looks like we're kind of in this area right here where we've had a lot of daily closes. You can see here, if we've had some daily closes here, it looks like there's kind of some resistance here, right? And this is also the top of the bull market support band. So I think Bitcoin dominance could come back down. This is a really big daily candle. And usually when you get these really big daily candles, you see these kind of retrace a bit. As I say on the channel a lot, wicks usually get filled. And it's happening with a lot of altcoins, unfortunately. Like, I don't don't know, SPX, for example. This was a really strong meme coin. We had this massive wick down, and it looks like now that wick is getting filled. And this is happening with a lot of coins, right? A lot of these are doing it. Even Morpho, this one was holding up extremely well, and then the last 2 days started dumping again. So a lot of these coins are doing it. FET, man, is insanely just destroyed right now. Just absolutely destroyed. There was some drama with Oceans and selling a bunch of tokens, and I think they have a lawsuit against them or something. But FET down a lot to like 20 cents, which is insane. So some altcoins are getting destroyed. ZEC, when I just checked this, it was massively red literally like an hour ago. What happened? Oh, wow, look at that. Okay, there's a big sell. There's a big ZEC sell. Holy crap. So there's a pullback there for that one. But, you know, it's interesting because some altcoins are doing well while Bitcoin dumps here. Now, well, I mean, in the last couple of days, not like, you know, in the last couple of months, altcoins are absolutely destroyed. Don't get me wrong here. I'm not saying altcoins have been doing any sort of overperformance against Bitcoin. But if we look at like total 3, it's just kind of interesting that today it hasn't done much when the total market cap today is down a lot. You see that? So on the daily today, the total market cap from like wick to wick is down 3.8%, but total 3 was only like, you know, I guess it is still about 3%, but it just doesn't look that much on the chart. And when you're looking at some of these, and then you look at like a bunch of cryptos, a bunch of altcoins against Bitcoin, you know, like XLM today is up 5%, right? DOT is up a little bit. DOT's holding up. XTZ, Tron is doing really good, especially if you look at the Tron dominance. Tron, TRX. You can see it looks like it's kind of trying to bottom and moving back up again. So it's kind of, it was like a fake breakdown below the red moving average. So some of these altcoins are holding up very well. Litecoin Bitcoin still doesn't want to go below this same area that the wicks have been getting stopped right here, right? So the wicks have been like stopping somewhere in this area here, and it looks like it still wants to stay there, and it's in the cycle window for the daily cycle low. So that one's interesting. Fartcoin just, again, just dying here, just dying. We could come back down to even, you know, this level down here. What else is doing good? ENS is kind of holding up today. SUI trying to hold on for dear life. FET, not so much. Atom, interesting. This one's up today. However, it had a large drop yesterday. So does it really matter? I mean, it probably dropped more than some of the other ones, right? Bitcoin Cash has actually been, for some reason, Bitcoin Cash has been extremely strong like this entire bull market. I mean, this is, you know, all year, and surprisingly, you know, we're actually up 50% on the year for Bitcoin Cash, which is really interesting. NEO is one that's been holding up very well. This is one of my best altcoin trades, short term, that's been holding up, not long term, short term. And you can see here, it's like really trying to find a bottom here. So, you know, I also thought that here. And then of course, this massive liquidation cascade kind of ruined that. Doge Bitcoin, again, seems like it's just kind of bottomed into this area here. Maybe we'll come back down a little bit. Crow Bitcoin is now finally lost some of these moving averages. Dot Bitcoin, of course, if you zoom out, I mean, it doesn't look good, right? It's obviously way down here, but I mean, in the short term, here's some opium for you guys, or if you want to short-term trade some of these, again, Bitunix link below, gives you a nice little discount on your fees. So if you do want to try trading, feel free to do it. So yeah, it's just kind of interesting. Another thing we'll look at is others divided by Ethereum. This one's been bottomed since like 8/24. Which is kind of interesting. So really, we're in the same spot we were there. So Ethereum is maybe losing a bit of its steam, and some of that is coming into altcoins potentially. I mean, altcoins have been so beaten down that eventually they have to find some sort of a bottom, and maybe we're seeing that here. Another thing is USDT. It kind of looks like, so I was hoping that this support was going to hold. It did not hold. But this kind of looks like, you know, if you look at it like this is a rising wedge pattern, which is usually a bearish pattern, and that's good for this, for stablecoin dominance, because when these break down, that means, you know, cryptocurrencies go up because people take their money out of stables and they put them in. We did have that daily cycle low picked back here. It hasn't confirmed yet. That's why it has a little candle, and that's why this is the window that it was going to say it was in, but it seems to do it early. It kind of looks like something like this here, you know, like where we're going up and then now we're coming back down, or even something like this, and then we're going to come back down. So I'm looking for this one to go down, and I think that'll signal some more money coming to the market. Let's look at some sentiment. Let's see the FOMO finder. I'm curious if we got into panic yet on this one. This is something I like to use. I do have an indicator that does it, but it's not perfect. So I guess we can just check that sentiment indicator real quick on Bitcoin. Go on the daily. Yeah, it does show purple here. So it shows purple on FOMO Finder. If you can see down here, it's into the purple. It's at the -1 range. And then we're in, I think, extreme fear. So let's go check those on the legit site. What do we got going on here? We kind of zoom in. I think we did. It doesn't show it. Interesting. I thought we hit this for a little bit last night here. We were in uncertainty for sure. So we don't have panic yet here. This means that like it's kind of balanced, right? That means there's just as many longs as shorts. If we look at fear and greed, I'm assuming we're probably in extreme fear. Yeah, 21 is really low. 21 is the lowest we've been in a real long time since the tariff tantrum. Okay, that makes sense. We're in the lowest. We actually just went below the low from October 17th. That makes sense. So we are at the lowest, the most fearful that we've been since back here. And again, this was a great time to buy. This might be a great time to buy. Now, only time will tell. I think we have one big pump before this market is over for the cycle. Eventually we can get into here. If we go to like max, like if we get into like the bear market, you'll see that we'll get down into like the 9-10 range, but there's a lot of bouncing off this area. As you can see, the 20 right here, if you like were to draw a line through here, look at a lot of bouncing happens at this 20. So that's where we are. We've bounced from similar levels before, in August of last year, in the tariff tantrum, in March, April, and then here. So could we go a little bit lower? Yeah, we absolutely could. But I think we're going to be in the process of finding a bottom, especially if we get a good reaction from the stock market again. So stock market, unfortunately, kind of controls our fate a little bit here. So here is SPY pre-market. You can see I was kind of drawing these like little gaps here, and it looks like we want to backfill some of these gaps. We've kind of already done that on futures, but I think in the actual stock market, we're going to fill some of these gaps here. I just had these little orange lines here just kind of show what kind of gaps we have. I guess we already filled this one. So actually, technically, the only gap is right here, right? And it's really even a little bit higher. It's really even like right here. So we could fill this gap here and bounce off this moving average, and we could see a nice spring off of that. It would also be a good time to pick up some. I picked up a lot of Costco down here at about 915 bucks. That's looking like that was a good buy. Costco's been down a lot. One of my favorite stocks to own. So anyways, that's going to be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I don't think it's over. I don't think it's over, guys. I think you guys especially need to just kind of check yourself. If you're thinking about getting rid of everything right now, don't do it at the lows. Just don't do it. Could we go lower? Yeah, but I think we're going to at least get some sort of bounce out of here. I think there's no way that Bitcoin doesn't come back up into, at least to retest this, if not to come up into these red lines up here. And as I said, I still think that we have a new all-time high for Bitcoin and potentially a lot of altcoins. That's it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Stay in there, guys. Hang in there, guys. I'm tired, boss. I'm seeing a lot of I'm tired, boss memes. But I think we're just kind of bottoming in these cycles. Again, I think that's what's happening. We have a nice bull moon coming as well. If you wanna get superstitious, we have a nice bull moon coming on Thursday. So usually we see some outperformance besides this last one here. Usually we see some outperformance here. You can see boom, boom, at least for a couple days after this. So I'm thinking that we're going to see some big pumps here soon. I think people are too bearish at the lows and too bullish at the highs. And that's going to always play out. But that's it. Have a great day. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like, hit the subscribe button. See you guys.